Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and it is Thankful Thursday. On Thankful Thursday, it's our day to focus on gratitude. My favorite day of the week because I try to remind myself and you guys all the time that gratitude is a tool, gratitude is a mindset, gratitude is a practice. And the reason I say that it's a tool is because when you're experiencing life's difficulties, gratitude is something that you can grab hold of, you can pull it out, and you can use it to quickly enhance your mood, lift your spirits, give you a different perspective, and help you to kind of get out of the feelings of whatever is going on and move towards a more calm, easy mindset so that you can get to the place where you're focusing more on the solution versus the issue that's causing you the discomfort in the first place. So, gratitude is a very powerful tool. Gratitude is a way to move through life. Gratitude, as I said, is a practice. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about gratitude in the midst of a storm. And by storm, I mean whatever life difficulty may be coming your way, whatever you may be experiencing. When we're in the midst of that storm, it feels like life is just chaotic. Everything is out of control. Sometimes we can't, when we're in the middle of it, we can't see how we're going to get to the other side. So, gratitude is something that, again, can calm the spirit, calm your nerves, get you in a different perspective so that you can start to see and process and think about solutions versus the problem at hand. When you're focused on the issue, that's all that you can see. And that just increases the emotions and does not have you in a place to where you can start to think your way through whatever it is that you're experiencing. For those of you who've been around for a while, actually dropping a link. If you're on LinkedIn, I've already shared it, but I just shared the link to all the other social medias. I'll drop it on TikTok after the call because I'm on a different device with you guys, so I can't easily drop it. But for those on Facebook and YouTube, I just dropped it there. And it's an article that I wrote quite a while ago. Actually, I can see it in the title. It was March 26th of last year, where I talked about gratitude. And I was reading over that last night in preparation for us to talk today, and just kind of reminding myself of some of the things that I've looked at before and shared with you guys before at a, in a different medium that could be useful for today's conversation. Good morning, Bridget. Good morning, Shay. Thank you, ladies, for joining. I see you guys coming in from TikTok as well. Thank you so much for being here. It's hard for me to see your names, but I do see a couple of folks are logged in and watching, and quite a few are scrolling through. So I invite you all in. If you like what you hear, please like and share. Share the broadcast so that others have the opportunity to engage and possibly add something that can enrich the conversation or hear something that might enrich their life. Good morning, Mother. So thank you all for joining. We're jumping right in, and as always, it's Thursday. So today's topic is gratitude. I'd love to hear, because I said at the top of the conversation, gratitude is a practice. When we practice, we know we repeat something over and over and over again until we get good at it. And even when we're good at it, we want to improve our skills. So we're always practicing, rehearsing. And so for each of you that are watching now, if you're in a place to where you can drop a comment, drop one thing that you are grateful for, and that will help you get into that mindset, and hopefully you can do that throughout the day. It'll keep you focused, it'll keep you positive, keep you focused on the solution and able to move towards through your day versus kind of getting bogged down with the activities that may come and that an attempt to throw you off your game. Good morning, Victoria. So you guys go ahead and do that, and I'll continue to talk about gratitude, and specifically I'm going to focus on a portion of the blog. If you guys want to follow along, the link is there for everybody to take a look at the full article that I wrote last year on gratitude. Good morning, Sonia. Good morning, Timothy. Timothy says he is grateful for his family and his job. Timothy, I am going to try and pronounce your last name. And if I get close, give me a thumbs up or something. I believe it's Timothy Adewale or something along those lines. I would love to hear, or maybe you can help me in a room someday, because we see each other on LinkedIn, in LinkedIn audio rooms. I am obsessed with African names, and that's what that looks like to me. I could be mistaken, but we did our ancestry last year, and I learned that a good portion of the most of my ancestry is from Nigeria. So one of the things I want to do this summer is start to study the Nigerian. He said, close. YU, Timothy Adewayu. Um, so I'm trying to learn more about that culture, because it's my culture, even though I've never had the pleasure of really experiencing it. So and then eventually my husband and I are going to take a trip. So that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for learning more about where my family originated, and as much about my African culture as possible, because I know nothing other than that I'm about over 20% Nigerian. So I want to learn about Nigerian food, Nigerian culture, and then take a trip there. So that is what I am thankful for. Good morning, Sierra. Glad to see you here. All right. So Sierra, I know you just joined, and what people are doing is dropping what they're thankful for this morning, because this is good morning, Karen. This is Thankful Thursday. So you guys can continue to do that. And just a reminder, I also just dropped the link to the article that I'm going to be sharing a portion from this morning. I blog. So if you guys follow the link to the article, by all means, go ahead and become a follower, and that way you'll get notified whenever I put new content out. I love to write, and this all began as a blog. I started writing, and eventually someone asked me if I would do it audibly so that they didn't have to read the whole thing. They could listen to it while they were on their way into work or whatever. And everything kind of snowballed from there. Good morning, Karen. So you guys drop in for me what you're grateful for, and I'm going to jump into the article. Let's see here. So the article itself is just entitled Gratitude, and I wrote it March 26th of last year. But one of the sections of it is Gratitude in the Midst of the Storm. And I'm going to just read a little bit of the intro to kind of set the tone. And then more importantly, we'll talk about some of the things that you can do to help you, even when you're dealing with life's difficulties, to maintain an attitude of gratitude, and how that can help you get through the difficult situation. So I wrote Gratitude in the Midst of the Storm. When things are going wrong, it can be extremely difficult to feel gratitude. That's understandable, and that's why it's called a practice. And so I talked about that just a few minutes ago. So you're practicing right now by dropping into the comments something that you're grateful for. Anything that we practice, we are going to improve. We may never be, the best champion, award winning, whatever that thing is. But if you practice it, you're going to get better. And I'm reading a book right now called Atomic Habits. And in the book, he talks about small changes, and how if you make a small change and improve just slightly each day, that little change, they compound over time and culminate into the big change that you ultimately are trying to get to. So just practice. If you just start once a day reminding yourself of something that you're grateful for, you can work yourself up to journaling. You can work yourself up to maybe 3 or 4 items every morning and every night that you're grateful for. But the important thing is to start and to practice. And if you're a little bit better today than you were yesterday, you're progressing. And that's what life is about, making those tiny steps, progressing, because over time, you'll get where it is you're trying to go. I've heard people say, how would you eat an elephant? one bite at a time. An elephant is huge. You're not going to be able to take it all in. You wouldn't want to, right? But you absolutely couldn't take it all in. It's one bite at a time. And if you maintain and stay consistent, before you know it, the whole elephant's gone. So make those, get in the habit of practicing gratitude. You got nothing to lose from having positive thoughts. You have nothing to lose for focusing in on and realizing what you're grateful for. So practice it. And even if you think it's all a bunch of hocus pocus, there's no value in it, just practice it a little bit and see how it feels in your body. See how it shifts your mindset. And you could always stop. If it doesn't do anything for you, you can say that girl was blowing smoke. This is a waste of my time. But I'd be willing to bet that if you take the time to practice gratitude, you will notice a shift in how you feel. It is definitely a tool. So we face life's challenges all the time. And when I originally wrote the article, my intention was to just start to kind of write down a list of some of the challenges that we experience as humans. And as I started to do that, I saw a common thread. It didn't matter what, because I started talking about divorce. I thought about, a loved one being lost. I thought about our jobs going away, or, people at one point in time, there was such a large amount of foreclosures and things like that, difficult life situations. But the common thread amongst all of those, the foundational piece of every one of those is loss. Is some sort of a loss. So you're losing your marriage, you're losing your job, you're losing a loved one. What are you're losing your health. All of those things can take us down so quickly and really make it difficult for us to even deal with the life that's in front of us. So and those things are so heavy, and they are difficult situations, but when your mindset is right, when you're looking at it from a place of gratitude, it helps you to get through that situation a little bit easier. It helps you to keep moving when everything in you is saying, I can't do this. I don't want to take another step. I want to crawl up in a ball and curl up in a ball in my bed and just stay there. I've been that depressed before, where the idea of getting out of bed and brushing my teeth and showering and eating, I couldn't wrap my head around, and I couldn't find the energy to make the effort to do the most basic things in life. And when you're in that place, it's so dark. It doesn't seem like there's any light anywhere. You don't want to interact with people. You just want to disappear. And if you're ever experiencing something like that, if it lasts for very long, then gratitude may not be enough. It's always okay to ask for help, professional help. Talk to a friend, let somebody know what's going on. But in the communication with other people, you can find your lifeline. So I definitely don't want you to think that if you're really in the throes of something like that, that you could just think your way out of it. A lot of people can't. And it is okay. We have to demystify. We have to take the stigma away from getting help, especially mental health. And I've never been anything but a person of color. And I know where I come from. Talking about mental health and getting help professionally is often frowned upon. It's not something that we talk about. It's not something that we encourage people to get help for. You're either going to pray your way through it, you're going to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, quit whining, don't be weak. There's all this type of stuff that comes. And all I want to say to you today, if you don't hear anything else, I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your socioeconomic position is. I don't care if you're male or female, gender, race, any of it. Depression. There's a lady on TikTok, Sophia, that I listen to her lives every other week when she comes on, and she wrote a book called Depression Doesn't Discriminate, and it's available on Amazon right now. This lady had attempted to take her life multiple times. And this is not what I intended to talk about today, but sometimes you just have to let go and move with how the spirit is moving. And Sophia wrote this book, Depression Doesn't Discriminate. And she noticed that the last time she attempted to take her life several years ago, it was on 316, March the 16th. So she's created this movement. There's a hashtag about 316. I think it's three, and she says all the time it's 316 somewhere, talking about the time. And she encourages people at 316, either AM or PM, wherever you are, when you notice that it's 316, to stop and show gratitude. Stop and think about something that you're grateful for. Because she is so grateful for the fact that she even continues to have a life, because she really had tried on multiple occasions to end her life. That's how dark things had gotten for her. But by the grace of God, she is still here. And she's taking the pain that she's overcome, the trauma that she's overcome, the life that she's worked through, and she's put that in a book. And her attempt is not only to help somebody who may be going through that, but she focuses more on the people who are around those people who may be around somebody who's depressed or struggling in life. And she really opens up and is transparent about what was going on inside of her head, potentially what she needed, so that if you're a caregiver for somebody who's struggling, or you are around someone who's struggling, you have a little bit of insight and might be able to help them. So I do want to encourage you all, because as I was starting to talk about this, Depression Doesn't Discriminate just came to my mind so clearly, and it reminded me of her book. So there's a lot of help out there. There's a lot of help. And although gratitude is a tool, I do want to encourage you that if you're in that deep place, get the help that you need. Reach out to somebody and talk about what you're feeling and let them help you. Just in the act of talking about it, just in the act of connecting with someone else, you'll be amazed at how you start to feel some ease. There's nothing like human connection, but it's got to be a trusted, somebody that you trust, and someone who's going to encourage you, not tell you what you need to do because based on what they've done, but encourage you to tap into you and figure out what it is that you actually need. We as humans have we like to relate and we like to tell stories. So as soon as someone starts to talk about us, it will remind us of something that's happened to us or something that we've experienced, and we'll go to start talking about that, or we'll start advising from that point of view. I just want to encourage you, when you're on the other end of someone else's difficult conversation, that you listen and receive more than you talk. Because although you may get triggered and remember something in that moment, let that person empty. Let them get out, nod. I hear you. I will pray with you. What can I do for you? Or just ask them, do you want me to say anything, or do you want me just to be a sounding board? I'm here in whatever capacity that's going to help you. But we make the mistake immediately. I have so many conversations throughout the day, and a lot of times I don't even finish my thought, because as I start to talk, the person on the other end immediately starts, oh yeah, I experienced something just like that. And then the conversations, whatever I was trying to say, is gone, because they're now telling me their story. So what was on my heart is still sitting there. I haven't had the opportunity to empty. So just a word of caution in our ability and our interest in relating to that other person. Don't take their moment, don't take their story and overpower it with your story. Give them the floor, give them your ear, be an active listener. It's okay to drop in words of encouragement, but don't take over the conversation and not allow them to empty, because that conversation that they're having with you, them having the ability and thinking enough of you, trusting you enough with their story in that moment, is powerful, and it shows how much they trust you. So honor that trust by really listening and allowing them to get off their chest and to empty whatever is inside. Resist that natural response to take over. So all of that is extra. I don't know why. I was going to say I don't know where it came from, but I know exactly where it came from. It came from my Father up above, who is always talking, guiding, and giving me what it is that he wants me to share. So that's where it came from. Somebody I am trusting, because I trust him. Somebody needed to hear that. Maybe somebody is downloading Sophia's book right now. Maybe somebody is picking up the phone and reaching out to a loved one or a trusted advisor because they've been in that dark place. Whoever you are, as alone as you may feel, understand that you are not truly alone. Just just reach out to one person, or it may be a hotline. It may be 911, and whatever it is that you need, open up just enough to let a little bit of light in so that you can see your way to get what it is that you need in this moment. And for the rest of us, stay vigilant. Check on everybody that's in your life on some sort of rotation, especially the person that you believe is the strong person. That's me. I'm the strong person in a way. I'm everybody's sounding board. People are going to call me and talk to me about what's going on in their lives. But I'm so empathetic that when they're done with their conversation and they've gotten off the phone and they're feeling better, I'm kind of all wrapped in their emotions and what they left behind. So I have to have some real good techniques to take care of myself and to shake that off so that I can get back centered and back balanced myself and go through my day. We have to know these things about ourselves. I'm okay being that sounding board, but I also know that after it's over, they may feel better, but I'm not okay now. Now it's time for me to clean myself. I've got to get rid of all of that and get back to center and be safe. So take the people that you consider the strong ones. We're the last ones that people ask if we're okay often. If you're lucky enough to have somebody that's in your life that's checking on you, man, you're great. That's great. Be grateful for that. That's something to be grateful for today. Be grateful for that person. But you just checking in on somebody and calling when you don't want anything. You absolutely don't want anything, but just to hear their voice and know that they're okay. That works wonders for people. It feels so good to be loved like that, to be thought of like that, and there's no strings attached. I'm not about to ask you for anything. I'm not even about to dump my stuff on you today. I'm just checking in and want to see that you're okay. Take it from someone who is often the sounding board. When those phone calls come in, they lift your spirit. They lift your heart. They remind you that you're doing something right, and that people see you and they care about you, and you're not just a resource, but you're a person to them, a person of value. So check in on those strong people because we need it too. All right. So I did want to give you guys a few bullet points of things that you can do when you're in the midst of the storm. Gratitude seems like a ridiculous conversation to even have. How can I be grateful when I'm so ill? How can I be grateful when this horrible thing is happening, when I just lost a loved one? I get it. How can I be grateful when I just heard that my job is going away? That's happening a lot in the world right now. So I I don't believe that there's a end all be all, that there's a one size fits all response to anything. We are all so individual and it's personal, but this is just a few ideas and one of them may work for you. So I'm hope because the hope is that if you're not in a situation like that, you start to build up some strength so that when life does happen, you've got some things that you can remember, some things that you can pull on. And if you are in the midst of it, if you're in the midst of a storm and you're depressed, if you're in the midst of the storm and you're angry, you're upset, you're struggling, that's normal. It's normal for us to have emotional responses to what's happening around us. So don't let anybody rush you. Don't let anyone tell you what your emotional responses are wrong. I'm not saying that at all. They're absolutely normal that you're going to feel based on what's going on around you. My hope is that we can shorten the curve, shorten the length of time that you're down so that you can start to pick your head up and you can start to look for the light at the end of the tunnel. You can start to see yourself coming through the storm and not being in it. The one thing we don't want to do is stop when we're in the midst of the storm, because then that's where you're stuck. We don't want to stay in the storm. We want to move through the storm. And that's what we're talking about today. Gratitude as a tool, and some steps that may help you quicken the time in the midst of the storm emotionally and how you may move through it. So the first thing is to look for the opportunity. What new opportunity exists because of the storm? It's rare when we're comfortable that we're looking for any type of change. Comfortable feels good. And so when we're comfortable, we'll keep doing what we're doing and we won't shake things up a little bit. A storm, if nothing else, shakes things up. And while we're all discombobulated and we're emotional, it's really hard to think about what's the opportunity here. I was talking to someone a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago, who had recently heard that their job was going away. And they've been with that company for a very long time. So I said to them, what opportunity is out there for you now? What is waiting for you? That's when one door closes, another one opens. I do believe that. What opportunity is waiting for you that you otherwise would have missed? You wouldn't be paying attention to it because you've been so comfortable where you are for so long. So, what's the opportunity? That's not the easiest conversation to have, and you don't want to step on someone's emotions. So, I honored the emotions. We dealt with that part of it as well. But as things were settling down, we have to think about what's next, especially if you've got a hard date coming your way and you know there's big change coming. You've got a finite amount of time to start to build a plan. So you deal with your emotions when they come. And then as they subside, then you've got to start looking at what's next. And that's one of the ways that you can start to cultivate kind of that what's next attitude. What is the opportunity that exists for me today that I would have missed if my world didn't get shaken up by whatever this news is? And then the other thing is to look inward. Are you drawn to something or someone? Or is there something that you're remembering that I would have done this, I would have done that? And when I was younger, I always thought I would have owned my own business. I always thought I would have been this profession or that thing. When the storm shakes life up and things as you know them are not going to continue that way, it's an opportunity for you to stop. Don't make a rash decision. And don't get me wrong, I know we only have a little bit of time because the bills are still coming. We still have to eat. We still have stuff that we have to do. But all I'm saying is, in the midst of all of this, pause for a moment and really allow yourself to think about what you would like to do. We typically gravitate back towards what's comfortable, what's familiar. So if I leave this particular job, I'm going to polish up my resume and go find a job just like it someplace else. Makes perfect sense, and that might be the ideal situation for you. Nothing wrong with that. But make sure that that's what you want to do. If you've been bemoaning going to that job for the last 10 years and you hate getting up and going, you hate doing the things that you were doing, this is an opportunity to not think about what you hated or recreate what you hated, but actually to stop and think about what it is you would actually really like to do and see, is this an opportunity for me to make that happen? Is this finally my break? Do I finally have the time that I need to get going on that track that I never really poured the energy into because I was doing all these other things? That's what COVID did for us. COVID made us go in the house, didn't let us come out, didn't let us talk to each other and interact the way we did. We were shut down and locked in. And so many people came out of that better than they went in. They started businesses, they finished degrees, they figured out their niche in life and the things that they really wanted to do because they had the opportunity. Although there was tragedy happening all around us, people were dying, people were losing their jobs, people were so sick, horrible things were happening around us. So gratitude and focusing on the opportunity didn't change what was happening, but some people dug in and said, how do I make the best out of this situation? I've been afforded time that I've never had before. Not this length of time when I couldn't leave my house, when I had time to just think, more time to think than I would like, because there's just not enough going on. I'm seeing my same three people all day, every day, and we're shutting this house. We're starting to get on each other's nerves. Everybody experienced some of that, but some people came out of that situation like rock stars with a new leash on life, new everything. They just figured out what it was they were supposed to be doing with their lives. And that's what the storm can do for you if you can as you deal with your emotions, as they calm, if you can allow the brain to take over, imagination to take over, and dream about what you would really like to do, and is there an opportunity to make that happen? And then you want to look for the lesson. That's my big one. In every storm, in every quote unquote failure, whenever things don't unfold the way we wanted them to, there is always a lesson. And sometimes we repeat, not sometimes, we repeat the same situations over and over and over again until we learn that lesson. So if you feel like you're in a cycle, that you're spiraling through the same life experiences, you probably are. I hear people all the time. I've said it myself. I just feel like a rat on the wheel. I'm running, but I'm not getting anywhere. I get this far and then I slide back. That means it's time to stop and reflect and think about the lesson that life is trying to teach you. There is something that you need to know. There is something that you need to learn. You're stuck in this place because you don't have what it takes to be ready for the next space. There's a lesson that you need to learn, a skill that you need to have. And I don't mean just technical skills. There's lots of interpersonal skills and personal development. Like I suffered from imposter syndrome. As long as I was feeling like I was less than, I was not ready for the types of positions that I have now and the types of positions that I'm continuing to go for, because I felt too small. I felt too insignificant. I just didn't feel smart enough. And because I had that internal messaging going on, I wasn't showing up as I could to receive those things. So I had to do inner work. The lesson for me way back then was I had to learn how to love myself. I had to learn to respect myself. I had to learn to see the value in myself. And as I did the work to do those things, I was blown away by the opportunities that presented themselves, by the people who showed up in my life and started to pour in. There is a saying that goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That has been my life for the last few years. Every time I got to a point to where I was ready to dig in and learn something, a person showed up, an article appeared, something happened that moved me in that direction, taught me deeper about that topic. Whatever it was that I was ready for, the teacher always showed up and I was better for it. So look for that lesson. That if you want to get through a storm, figure out what the lesson is in it. Learn it well, integrate it into your life. That storm's behind you now. You're moving forward. You're elevating because you've learned what you needed to go to the next level of life. Other storms will come. They will teach you things as well, but understand that that lesson is there, and it's for you. So, we will never have a life without challenges, but it's possible to overcome those challenges. And that's what we're not going to have the smooth sailing all the time. We're not always going to be, life won't always be rainbows and butterflies. But internally, if we know who we are, if we're grateful for what it is that we already have, our heart stays soft. We stay open and hopeful and ready to receive what is out there for us to receive. When you're stressed, you get tight. Your hands are tight, your neck is tight, your muscles are all retracted, and you complain about my neck, my back, all these things are hurting. Stop. Inhale. Breathe. Get present and think about the great things that have happened to you previously. Think about the great things that are in your life right now. Be hopeful and excited for the future and the great things that are to come. None of that will wipe away the reality of what's going on. But the idea is to have yourself mentally in a place to where you can make the most of reality. If you've got a fight to fight because there's something going on, you want to, and we know there's a lot going on in this world. You are better equipped to find solutions. You are better equipped to move through that thing if your mental is together. If you know that it's not you, you're good. If you know that there's a lot of good still in your life, then you're able to deal with the difficulties that come up as they arise. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I'm sure I went really long because there were quite a few little, I call them divine downloads. My divine downloads were happening as I was talking. So let me take a minute. I see quite a few of you. I wasn't looking at the chat as I was talking. So let me take a minute and see what all you guys have said. There's been quite a bit. Let's see. Latanya Bond, thank you for joining from LinkedIn. She said, good morning to everyone. Sierra says, I'm thankful for this spiritual journey I'm on and the wonderful ladies I'm doing it with. The growth and the way it's reframing my mindset has been amazing. I'm great when life is good and even when it's difficult. That's when you know, because life's difficulties will happen. We are human beings wrapped in flesh, feeling spiritual. There's always going to be something that's going to come up and poke at one layer or another of us. But when you can be good, even when you're in the storm, you know that you've mastered self-control. You know that you have the value that you're looking, your mindset is right. That's a powerful statement that she made. The growth and the way it is reframing my mindset has been amazing. I'm great when life is good and even if it's difficult. So I'm bad when I'm angry or triggered. That has been my conviction. Relying on God and still being God like in those moments. I'm grateful for God's love and grace. That's awesome, see. Latanya says, I'm grateful for my family and most definitely life, health, and strength. Yvette Ortega, hey girl, that's my sister. I love you. Said, baby steps are still accomplishments. Baby steps are still accomplishments and they matter. Those baby steps are still moving you towards what it is you want to accomplish and they compound. Just keep moving forward a little bit each day and you'll get closer and closer and closer to the finish line. Let's see. Latanya said it is okay to ask for help. We all need it. Absolutely. Mental health is a key part of necessary health care. That's Yvette Ortega again. That's one of the things that me and my husband talked about. We go in for our annual checkups. There's all kinds of different body parts that needs to be checked on. They're going to draw your blood. They're going to see what's going on internally. There's nothing wrong with doing a mental checkup as well. Even when you feel like you're doing well, even when life is going well, having those mental check-ins is important. It could be with a coach, it could be with an actual therapist, it could be with a girlfriend. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting what you need out of the situation and you have a place where you can go and release. Releasing is important. Let's see. Aromatic Visions. That's my mom, Joanne. She said, yes, get help. My friend's daughter just attempted suicide. I know. And that's, y'all, this world is difficult. And when it broke my heart a few months back, we just buried a young man. His family attended my church ever since he was a little boy. And he was late 20s, early 30s. And he took his life. And I just couldn't stop thinking that in that moment, life was so dark for him that death was a better option. I don't have any judgment of him and the decision that he made. I have heartbreak that's what his life felt like in that moment. And once he made the decision that he made, there's no coming back from that. He has left his physical body and his family is left behind to deal with that heartache, and friends and those of us who went to church with them. There's a hole that he filled that will forever be empty. And obviously he didn't realize that because he was so in such a place that that's what he felt like was the best solution. And when I think about it like that, it just absolutely breaks my heart. But I get it. I've been super super dark, especially in my younger years, and the heaviness of all that, it's unbearable at times. And Yvette Ortega dropped the crisis hotline 988. If you need it, dial those numbers 988 and talk to somebody. Sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger. She also dropped a website, NAMI Texas, NAMI TEXAX.org /crisis will get you there. Well, good morning, Cliff. It's no problem that you joined late. I am so happy to see you. My mom even asked about you yesterday. Yeah, I know you guys have never met. What's that man's name? I think it's Cliff. He's always on. I haven't seen him in a while. So I told her I was going to send you a message because it has been a little bit since we've seen you and just wanted to make sure that you're doing well. So it's great to see that you joined us this morning. Latanya said, move through the storm and find out what the opportunity is waiting for you. uh Joanne said divine download. I like that. I get those often. Victoria is grateful for each day. I wake up and realize that I'm still on the journey of life. Absolutely. And aromatic vision, which is Joanne, she says sometimes you don't even realize that you're depressed. You don't. And that may be something that we'll talk about one day. Is what depression looks like, how it may show up for people, because we have people who I know people have heard of functioning alcoholics. They are able to get up and go to do their jobs, and then they may, drink themselves into oblivion once they get home, and then they can get up and do it all over again. So the people who are around them may not have any idea that they're struggling with alcoholism because they see them working and doing the things that they need to do every day. Depression can be like that too. Sometimes you only have enough energy to get up and do what's absolutely mandatory. And then as soon as that's done, you retreat and you're back in your bed, or whatever. You may not get out of bed on the weekends. You just have a hard time moving. And so knowing that depression shows up in many different ways is important. It's not just, whatever you think it is, that's only a portion of it. Let's see. Yeah, Latanya says prayers for our youth and our young adults. They absolutely need it. Coming out of college and or finishing up high school and things like that. We're getting ready for the next round of graduates. And there was a time in life where when you graduated, there was a job waiting for you, or you had options. And the world is so topsy turvy right now that it's difficult for people to even know what's next. And when you get into that place and you don't know what's next for you, all kinds of difficult emotions and things can come up, and things can spiral out of control. So that's why it's so important for us to realize that we never know what someone's going through. So that person that cut you off, that person that you smiled at and they didn't respond, instead of allowing that to trigger you and you're adding more negative energy to that situation, you be the energy. Don't match energy, be the energy. Set the tone, raise the energy, because you never know whose life you're enhancing, whose life you're touching, possibly whose life you're saving. Everybody's going through so much. You just never know when someone's at their tipping point. So just be kind and assume that everybody's doing the best that they can, and treat them from that mindset. And then you go from there. You honor your boundaries, but just assume that people are doing the best that they can. And then Timothy said, indeed, baby steps are something to be grateful for. Absolutely. Baby steps are progress. And when we're making progress, we are winning. So we went very long today. I'm so grateful for each one of you. You guys had a lot to say and you have enhanced this conversation. I'm Cassandra Terry, mindset strategist is really where I spend my energy. I love working with clients and helping you tap into your inner voice and to hear what you're saying and feeling about yourself. Because once you tap into that, anything that we're aware of, we have the power to change. So once you're aware that you've got those negative messages playing in your head, once you know that that's going on, I can help you reframe those messages and move from a critic to an advocate. You can advocate for yourself all day, every day, but it starts with your mindset. So that's what I'm here to help people work with. I do a lot with goal setting and helping people build a roadmap to get to the goals that they want. But creating goals when your mindset is not together can be a futile exercise. It starts with the inner work. The voice within wins. Tapping into what you're saying about yourself and doing the work to make sure that that's good stuff, that you don't have a negative message playing in your head. That is what you need to do first and foremost. Then we can get to the goals and all that. But if you don't believe that you deserve them, if you don't believe that you're capable, if you've got negative messages playing in your head that say you can't, it doesn't matter how many goals you set. The likelihood of you actually achieving them is quite small. So that's why I start with the inner work first. Let's get that mindset right. I just launched a course a few days ago. It won't break most banks. Right now, it's on early bird. It's only 97 bucks. So for 97 bucks, you get a full course that explains my whole program and walks you through the mindset work first. After you've gone through the mindset work, then the rest of the course is there. It's broken up in the modules, but when you've done the mindset work, then we go into the goal setting, and you've got lots of spaces to write your goals and break them down and all that. So that's there as well, but you've got to start at the start. And the start is the inner work, getting the mindset right. So if you're interested in learning more about that course, it's on early bird for the next 7 days. Today's the 20th. So the 27th, it'll go up to a full price, which is 197. So you can knock 100 bucks off of it and get it for $97 US right now. Send me a direct message, reach out, and I'm happy to give you the link. If that's something that you just absolutely can't do, I've got some free resources as well. Talk to me, because it's important for me to get this information in your hands if you're ready for it. So we can figure out how to get you what it is that you need. So drop me your email address and I can share some information with you. If you're interested in the course, I will drop the link as well. Get registered and get going. So that is it for today, guys. I thank you so much for sticking around. We were here twice as long as we usually are, and I still see quite a few of you engaging. So you are much appreciated. I am grateful for you today and every day. We will be back tomorrow. Oh man, tomorrow's already Friday. We will be back tomorrow for Focus Friday. We will talk about focus and how using focus can improve your progress towards the goals that you're trying to meet. I'm signing off. You have to shower. I've been at the gym and get my workday started. So thank you all. Have a great day, Karen. Latanya, you are very welcome. You guys all tomorrow morning, 7:15 US Central for Focus Friday. If you catch this after the broadcast is over, hashtag replay so that we're there, and I will respond to any comments that you have later on in the day. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Be grateful. Remember what you're grateful for and allow that to improve how you're feeling throughout your day. Bye, guys.